I lowered my hands onto my armchairs and closed my eyes as I tried to establish contact. Deploy the emitter drone. A small, round object detached from our hull and flew to a point halfway between the Crimson Death and the Ares cruiser at an incredible speed, and then waited there, hovering in place after it went into stealth mode. "Emitter drone in position," Middo said. The drone's task was to amplify the reach at which I could control nanites. It took me 6 years to develop the skills and technology to accomplish this maneuver. It took me another 2 years of training to keep myself from dying while I performed it. I felt the 2 massive batches of nanites within the torpedoes lodged in the Ares cruiser. The connection was established, and I had some 4 to 5 minutes that I could allow myself control over them. Anything over that, and I'd burn my own brain out. I spread the nanites through the Ares ship, aiming for the weapon controls and engines. Destroying the electronic infrastructure of those systems wasn't too hard, but reaching them often caused a lot of harm to the ship. I felt the nanites breach through food processing services, atmosphere control, and gravity inhibitors. With every tendril of nanites that moved toward their ultimate goal, more subsystems were irrevocably destroyed, and more stress was put on my mind. I was sweating and breathing heavily, but I could focus little on my physical body. My entire mind was spiritually on the Ares ship, together with the billions of nanites that tore it apart, piece by piece. I knew Freya's gaze was on me the whole time. She hated this maneuver that I aptly called the Wolf's Knock. By the time I was done with the Ares cruiser, I had destroyed most of its systems without causing too much physical damage. I hadn't planned on destroying their atmosphere controls, so they'd had to abandon ship, but at least I hadn't killed anyone. As I returned mentally back into my own body, I felt a stinging pain shoot through my chest and my heart started to race. I began coughing and shaking uncontrollably. "You need to see me in the infirmary, Captain. Have someone take you there immediately. The scans show damage to—" "Enough!" I snapped and looked at Fars. "Freya, you have the ship." Freya nodded and accepted stoically, though I knew she'd give me the business end of the stick later when we were alone. As Middo pumped me full of who knew which chemicals, the boarding alarms started blaring through the ship, but only for 10 seconds. Freya had finally ordered a company of our Marines to board the orbital platform of Ginja 2. I kept my eyes glued on my INAS and the ship's cameras as I sat in an improvised recliner. The pain wasn't so bad, but I was having trouble keeping my bearings. "Captain, I need to go," Fars said, and I just nodded. "Do your job, Fars. Don't show pity to those who don't deserve it." He walked out the sickbay without another glance, and several minutes later he was leading his men to the dropships. Good, I thought. The platform wouldn't provide any more resistance. Otherwise, Fars would have had his soldiers fired out the death drops right through the station's hull. That tactic was very effective, but it was often also very deadly, hence the ominous name. I don't know if it was from Middo's medicine or the exhausting Wolf's Knock maneuver, but I fell asleep like a baby when I saw the transporters pull out from Tantori's insides. When I woke up some hours later, Freya was standing over me with Fars to her side. "How are you doing?" she asked. "Had a good rest?" I nodded. "Did you find anything? Do they know where—" Their silence was answer enough. Another failed attempt to find clues to Bardina. Another painfully pointless mission. More wasted resources, time wasted, lives lost, and another humiliating explanation that I'd have to give to the DA. "I'm fine," I said as I pushed myself into a sitting position. The pain in my chest was gone, but I still felt weak and dizzy. "Can you stand on your own?" Freya asked as she studied me worriedly and then shot Fars a hostile glance. The big guy just shrugged it off. "Yeah, I can. But is there nothing? Like, not a single clue? What were they making down there?" "Gravitation stabilizers," Fars answered. "The Joltans didn't try to hide anything. They were scared shitless when we arrived. There was no resistance. I interrogated their leader, and he opened up like a case of fruit. He told me the Imminy commissioned gravitation stabilizer."